Chapter 1. It Made a Good Story. I have been trying for more than 25 years to live down the name of Tenderfoot. I remember looking up the word when I first came to Montana because I was curious to know how long a sentence I must serve before I could hope to be eased into the fold of the initiated. The definition, a newcomer in a comparatively new or unsettled region, left much to the imagination, and I placed my own construction on the words. Being a supreme optimist, I concluded that once I had put down roots, I should automatically acquire the status of native. I was wrong. There may be sections of Montana where this miracle could take place, but not in my valley. There is no middle ground here. You were born in the valley, knowing those things you should know, or you move in and are supposed to know only the things you are told. If you listen and never ask stupid questions, you're a wise tenderfoot. If you talk when you should be listening, you lay yourself open to a kindly, tolerant ridicule that sticks to you the rest of your days. Early blunders brand you, and since valley memories are uncomfortably good, those blunders crop up when you least expect them. My first makes a good story to this day. I was born and reared in a Texas city, and until I married a sheepman and came to live in Montana, I had never seen a range of mountains. I had never seen a snowstorm or a chinook, and a lamb meant nothing more to me than a leggy creature which skipped about on frosted Christmas cards. I had been a sheep rancher's wife less than a week when a careless herder let his sheep stray into an alfalfa field, with the result that a dozen or more ewes bloated and died. Tom, my husband, also known as the boss, was very angry and sent the camp tender up to bring the offender in. The herder was a small, wizened Mexican. I could not but feel sorry for him when he was told after 5 minutes of sound abuse to roll his bed and get down the road. The moment he left the room, I protested indignantly. "That's downright inhumane. He's far too little to carry a bed." Tom was already figuring the herder's time on the back of an envelope. He's a man of few words, but he has a ready smile, and he grinned without looking up from his column of figures. The camp tender, who stood waiting for the herder's check, hastened to reassure me. "That Mex is tougher than he looks. He'll manage all right." I was still incredulous, and walked over to a window which gave a good view of the bunkhouse. My vigil was rewarded presently, for the herder emerged with only a small canvas-covered roll on his back. I turned about gleefully. "He's left his bed, and I don't blame him a bit." The camp tender moved over to the window. "'Tain't much of a bed," he admitted, "but he's taking it with him." If I had only stopped then, but I didn't. "His mattress and bedstead and springs, he hasn't got them." The camp tender stared, and suddenly his face was convulsed with an effort to conceal his mirth. He tried to say something, choked on the words, and made a dive for the door. Tom was not so considerate. He threw back his head and roared with laughter. A moment elapsed before he could explain that a shepherd's bed consisted of several blankets and a heavy square comfort known as a suggan, rolled up in a canvas tarp. I laughed then. I thought it was funny too, but later it ceased to amuse me. No fire ever spread over a forest more rapidly than that story spread over the valley. I can laugh about it now, but just the same, I never tell a herder that his ewes have wintered well, that I do not watch for a betraying gleam of laughter in his eyes, that I do not sense the inner workings of his mind. How can she tell if a ewe has wintered well or not? She didn't know a bedroll when she saw one. Nevertheless, there are advantages to being the kind of tenderfoot I was. When you have acquired the reputation for abysmal ignorance, you can sink no lower. All you need to do is settle yourself as comfortably as possible on the hard bedrock and listen and learn. You don't have to ask questions because, with a foresight that is positively uncanny, your neighbors and even the men employed on your ranch will beat you to them. They explain everything, down to the last intricate detail, and they keep on explaining. Their patience has its roots in kindliness, and only a half-wit could fail to soak up some of the knowledge.